Good afternoon, everyone. We are really glad to have you here today. And a huge round of applause for our special guest, Miss Ondriylla. Miss Ondriylla is working as a psychologist with the Shaurya Foundation Trust, and she's been into this profession since 8 years now. And she's a profound psychologist in her field. And a huge round of applause for Miss Ondriylla. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Ondriylla, and it's really a pleasure to have you here. Please tell us something about yourself.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you so much for introducing me. And hello, everyone. A very good afternoon, and welcome you all to the Coffee Connect. So I am Ondriylla Bhattacharjee, as Sakshi has already introduced me quite well. So I am working as a psychologist from quite a long time right now. But I have joined the Shaurya Foundation as a psychologist, working as a project assistant over here. It's just been a couple of months now, and I'm really grateful to the to Shaurya Foundation Trust that they have provided me this platform so that I can join with the worldwide out there. So thank you so much.
Okay, so Miss Ondriylla, today's topic is a topic which is very, very close to my heart, and me being an educational psychologist have come across this issue on everyday basis. Like more than anything, we hear parents dealing with their own mental health, and I think this is a very ignored segment in this particular field where we talk about the mental health of the parents with a child with special needs. So us as being in this field have come across a lot of parents dealing with this issue, and how they fail to sometimes accept it in the beginning, and how the journey goes, and how difficult it is in the beginning, and how beautiful it can be with the right kind of education and the right kind of resources which can be given to the parent. So, Miss Ondriylla, I would want you to speak a few lines about how a parent who's having a child with special needs deals with such a situation. Of course, indeed, it's worth mentioning that it's a lot more different than the other children. It's a lot more challenging, but at the same time, it's a beautiful journey. If coordinated with like-minded people and a good community, just like Shaurya Foundation. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sakshi. So, as we all know, that we will be talking about the mental health of the family members or the primary caregivers or the parents of the children with special needs,
Right.
as we say, right? But before coming to the topic, I would just like to add a few more points about what what exactly disability means and what exactly impairment means.
Right.
Because yes, as a professional person, we understand the difference, but as a layman, as a normal person out there, they generally tend to use these terms simultaneously. They do not understand the difference between the impairment and what is impairment and what is disability. So I would like to start the session with the difference between these two. See, so like impairment, when we talk about impairment is about an organ, all right? So when an organ of a person, say for example, eyes or ears, are not working to its full functional capacity,
Right.
we call it to be impaired, right?
Correct.
So, and because of this impairment, the person suffers from certain disability,
Right.
right? So, for example, as I say that if somebody's eyes are impaired, right? If the person is not able to see properly, so that makes him a person with challenge, like a person facing the disability that he won't be able to see properly,
Right.
right? Because the eyes are not working to its full functional capacity. So this is the main and the primary difference between being impaired and being disabled. Right?
Right.
So impairment is more related to the organ of the person, and disability comes with that impairment.
Exactly. And
Right?
this is a major confusion that most of the people in our society deals with, and they are often confused with these two terminologies. Thank you for clarifying
Yes.
that out. Okay.
Yes.
So the other questions that I have from the audiences here would be, what are the adaptation skills that the parent adopts for, and how can we deal with it in a more strategic and a more nicer manner other than panicking and like not accepting it merely.
Yes, sure, sure. So let me come to that part a bit later,
Right.
right? So coming to our topic today, having a family member with a disability
Right.
or special needs, as we say, can have a severe effect on the mental health of the family and overall functioning of the family,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because yes, like as we say, as we use the word disability, that brings a lot of chaos, that brings a lot of tension, that brings a lot of frustration into the lives of the family members, right? So
Exactly.
we are going to discuss all those topics as well. So yes, it does bring some negative impact, but yes, it does bring some positive impact as well. So let me start with the positive thing first.
Right.
See, the positive impact, like it broadens the exposure of the family. Of course, they
Of
are
course.
more exposed to such kind of situations or dealing with such kind of situations. They are more, for a commoner, for a normal person, for a commoner, for a layman, it might not be very easy to handle such situation or meeting people with a disability or the PWDs, but the parents or the family members of such children or such people with disabilities, they are more exposed to such scenarios, right?
Right.
So
Right.
they are more comfortable.
Correct.
I would never use that word, meeting or mingling with such
Right.
people with special needs. Okay, so of course their awareness is increased about the whole fact,
Mm-hmm.
about the whole thing. They have tremendous amount of inner strength. They have developed.
Totally.
They have encouraged themselves.
It's
The
beautiful to
some
witness that. It's beautiful to
yes,
witness some mothers having incredible amount of strength. On the other hand,
yes,
like when they start this journey, they are like weak and they are like not accepting of the fact. And after a few counseling sessions, they are coming up to us and strengthening us on the other hand. So it's a beautiful change
yes.
that we come across and we witness it on everyday basis nowadays.
Yes, of course, of course. So this family, they needs an enormous amount of strength to deal with all
Right.
these situations, right? To
Right.
handle this situation in a day-to-day life. And this situation is not for a day. It is like it is prolonged. It is coming. It is all about day to day,
Mm-hmm.
right? So but of course we cannot deny the adverse effect of the impact, right, on the
Totally.
parents mind and the mental health, right, because of course they are human beings after all, right? They,
Mm-hmm.
yes, they are taking care of a person with special needs, but even
Right.
they are human beings, even they have a mind, even they have emotions, feelings, their wants, their desires, right? So we should not neglect that. The parents themselves should not neglect that, and as a
Totally.
family, right? As a family, we should support them because see, if a person with special needs, he can be brought and born and brought up in any family structure, right? It
Mm-hmm.
can be a single parent family structure, it can be a joint family structure, it can be a nuclear family structure.
Totally.
So, right. So, the parents or the family members associated with the person with special needs, they need to learn the art of adaptability,
Hmm.
I would say. Right. Yes,
Very rightly
there is a
placed. I think
problem.
adaptability is the only term which fits in terms of accommodating with the needs of a person with special needs and being flexible at the same time in terms of changing
Yes.
their regimes and being adaptable to their everyday needs. I think that's one beautiful term with a very in-depth meaning. And every person who understands it and resonates with it can do wonders and can be a very flexible person to be around to a person with special needs. Beautifully put, Miss Ondrella. All right, so moving
Yeah,
further, Miss
because
Ondrella.
yes, so because this whole situation takes a toll on the life of the parents and the family
Totally,
members, right?
totally, that's right.
So, so if they don't learn to love themselves, they won't be able to provide that love towards others,
Yes,
right? If they
exactly.
are frustrated, if they are continuously stressed, if they are frustrated, right? They won't be able to provide that services to the person with
Totally,
special needs.
totally. It's very important to love yourself first in order to give love to somebody else. I think it's the
Yeah.
key step to every foundation. It's the key step.
Yes, of course.
Right?
Of
Okay.
course. Of course.
So moving further, I would like to know some of the adaptation skills that we can opt for and the parents here can opt for. What are
Okay.
your what are the key adaptation skills that you recommend and you have practiced in your career and that have worked with a lot of parents? We would like to know that, Ms.
Okay.
Ondriylla.
See, the parents, they deal with problems like the first and foremost thing is the continuous stress, right?
Right.
The constant stress that they have to go through,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then with that, along with that, they have their own frustrations, right? The relationship between the spouses, it also begins to
Yes,
kind
of
of
course.
deteriorate, right? Then of course, if it is a nuclear family, say for example, there is a set of parents, there is a father, there is a mother, there is a child with special need, and there is a normal child, as we
Mm-hmm.
say, right? So sometimes what happens is these parents or the family members, they provide extra special needs, extra special care to the person with special needs, and they tend to forget the other family members in the family,
Yes, that
like the other child or the other
that's
children
true.
in
That
the family,
happens
right?
very often.
So, yeah. So we as parents, we as family members, we definitely have to maintain the balance
Mm-hmm.
between the love and care of all the family members. Yes, a person with special needs does require special kind of attention, does require a special kind of assistance. But
Mm-hmm.
of course, there are other members in the family too. So we need to love, we need to care, we need to show respect to the other family members as well, right?
Right, right.
Then again, we have financial issues, right? Because a person with special needs, they require a lot of medication, they require a lot of assistance. So sometimes the families are burdened. There are again all these small point. It just leads to one thing that is called stress and frustration, right? So adaptation skills for these would be the primary thing is to educate and aware the parents about the whole disorder first of all, because they don't know how to deal with that problem. They
Totally.
don't know how to deal with the
Right,
disability,
right.
right? Because they're unaware of the whole fact. If a person is, say, for example, suffering with the autism, is suffering from
Mm-hmm.
cerebral palsy or Down syndrome or whatsoever,
Right,
the parents sometimes they do not understand the problem, right? So it is very, very, very necessary to aware them, to educate them about the whole thing, about
correct.
the whole problem or the whole disorder they are facing, right? The child is facing, but also along with that how to handle that problem. So the basic adaptation skill is to aware them, to educate them, and
Mm-hmm.
also how to adapt with the problem. This is the first and the foremost step that we plan,
Right.
right? Then again, we should encourage them to form support groups like our Sorry Foundation does. Right, we have support groups for parents. We have a 24/7 counseling sessions for
Right.
our children and for the parents as well. The
Correct.
parents can call us. The parents can we provide those services, we provide those facilities to the parents
Right.
for the students who are staying here, right? So yeah, so these kind of support groups can be created where the parents they can come,
Mm-hmm.
not only the mother or not only the father, both of them can come, both of them can talk about their life, both of them can they can just vent out their own frustration or the stress that they are
Exactly.
feeling.
Exactly.
Because because the one thing that we shouldn't forget is parents are also human beings,
Totally.
right? And
Totally.
all human beings have all sorts of needs. They need to relax. They need a free time for themselves. They need to travel, vent out their problems, vent out their frustrations, right? So we shouldn't forget that. So along with how to deal with the disorder, we should also guide them how to adapt with it
Right.
slowly and
Right. Right.
steadily,
Totally.
right?
Totally.
Yeah. So after that, of course, then training the parents and the family members about it, right? Then counseling services, as I said, like
Correct.
we should provide group therapies or provide group counseling sessions to the
Right.
parents,
Right.
because
Right.
if I am suffering from a problem and you are suffering from the similar problem, then we will be able to
Of
understand each
course,
other
we'll be able
more.
to empathize better and counsel each other
Yes.
better. Yes, it works
Bilkul,
like
of
a
course. Yeah.
miracle. Like it's beautiful to see parents coordinating with each other and sharing out their feelings, and they feel a lot more better after it. Like, I
Yes,
mean,
of course.
it's so beautiful to spot those parents at Shore Foundation only during those associations with the Parents Council, and they share their feelings, they speak their heart out, and it's beautiful how
Yes,
they feel so much lighter after those sessions.
of
Right?
course, of course,
Right.
of
Okay.
course.
So, what are the
Yeah.
key therapies that you would like to suggest for parents in particular?
Okay. Okay. As if you talk about therapies, like the umbrella term is counseling,
Okay.
right?
Right.
The umbrella term is counseling, and
True.
everything comes under that. The workshop, the training, the awareness programs,
Mm-hmm.
the adaptability, everything comes under that counseling session.
Correct. Correct.
So, so there are many ways of counseling a person, right? There can
Mm-hmm.
be face-to-face counseling, there can be group counseling. So some of the main counseling process or therapies that we talk about are
Mm-hmm.
would be an individualized therapy session where
Correct.
the parents can come and sit and face to face talk to the counselor. They can express their views. They can just talk,
Right.
whatever they want to speak about, right? They
Exactly.
can talk about themselves. They can talk about their needs. They can
Mm-hmm.
talk about their relationship with their spouses. They can talk anything. So
Right.
it is more like you and me sitting together over a cup of coffee and talking about the whole problem and sort it out, right? So yes, I prefer an individualized face-to-face session more comfortable because
Right.
that's how you understand the person better. Like
Exactly,
individually, you
exactly.
understand them better.
Empathizing with the person becomes a lot more easier when we are sitting across each other, because there are, I feel, I'm a huge believer of neuro linguistic programming, and I feel that a person tends to relate a lot better with the five senses that are being
Yes,
involved, the eye movement, the hand gestures, everything. And it's a lot
of course.
better to have the counseling sessions on one-to-one basis. Right. What are the
Yeah.
strategies which we as psychologists can promote in terms of dealing with parents with having a child with special needs? What all other coping strategies would you strongly recommend to the audiences here?
Okay. So for that, we can provide a group therapy counseling session. Like we call it group
Right.
therapy, where again, just as I said, like creating support groups. So here the parents
Exactly.
could come
Right.
in a group
So we
of
have a
maybe
question.
five to
Sorry to
seven
interrupt,
members.
Miss Ondrella. We have a
Yeah.
question from the audiences. They're
Yeah.
keen to know which therapy works better. Is it the group therapy that works better, or is it the individualized therapy that works better?
Okay, so see, every person has a special need. Every
Totally.
person approaching towards a counseling process has a different kind of a mindset, have a different kind of a need, right? Now, some people are very comfortable talking in the group, like
Mm-hmm.
they might not express their feelings individually, but they can talk in a group,
Mm-hmm.
right? When they're in a group, they can express themselves better.
Right.
But there are certain people, there are certain parents of people who do not want to disclose their things to other people. They want to keep it to themselves,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
it completely depends on the nature of the parents, I would say, or
Right.
their acceptance, how they like to be counseled. They want a
Beautiful.
group
Right.
counseling. There is a family counseling as well, where the whole
Correct.
family is taken care of,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Correct.
So it completely depends on the individual and definitely the problem of that individual, of course.
Totally, totally. Thank you so much, Ondrella. You placed it so beautifully. I would want you to wrap it up and speak few lines about this whole issue and how we can cope with it in a beautiful manner. I mean, there's no better person than you, since you're in this profession almost a decade now. And I would like to know, I think our audiences are keen to know the key strategies, the key points, the main points which we can take away from today's session with you, Miss Andrella.
The one of the key point that I would suggest, personally as well as of course to the parents as well,
Mm-hmm.
that if there is a problem, try to fix it by talking it out. Say it,
Hmm.
right? Just vent it out. Just talk to someone. It does not matter that you were talking, you have to talk to a counselor. Just
Right.
talk to one of the best friend of yours, or talk to that
Exactly.
one family member,
Right, right.
right?
Sorry to interrupt, but this reminds me of a very famous campaign by Deepika Padukone, who insisted
Hmm.
on, I think the name of the campaign was Fir se Poocho, Bar Bar Poocho. So it also resonates with the
Okay.
people around that they are supposed to ask the question repeatedly, even when the person is not speaking up. Just speak it out, just ask the question, how are you feeling? Again and again. So the campaign's name was Fir se Poocho, Bar Bar Poocho, and I think it's a beautiful campaign, and it resonates with most of us because most of us tends to stay mum during this time, which is so
Yes.
not advisable. It is
Right.
it
Yes.
is like it's very important to speak your heart out and express what's going inside, right?
Yes. Because I would just like to give a small example.
Mm-hmm.
मतलब it is in Hindi,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
of course. We have a
It is
lot
in
of
Hindi.
Hindi audience still.
It will be explained more like माँ भी बच्चे को तभी दूध पिलाती है जब वो रोता है, राइट? अगर
Right.
बच्चा बोलेगा नहीं, I mean, if the person doesn't speak out, we won't be able to understand what's going on inside. A person
Exactly. Exactly.
wears a mask all the time, right?
Right.
I may be very disappointed, I may be very depressed, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to wear a mask all the time so that so that the other person cannot judge me, right? But if I want some help, so you need to
Mm-hmm.
speak it out,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
You have to tell
Exactly.
it. You have to speak it out. So that is the first and the foremost thing that I suggest and recommend each and every one, like in my friends group, in my social group, in my family, that speak up. Whatever it is,
Speak your
speak up.
heart
You have
out.
some
Right.
problem, speak it up.
Mm-hmm.
So first point would be that, and second most important is as I already said, like we are all human beings and we
Mm-hmm.
all have needs. And we should not ignore those needs, because if our needs are ignored, if we do not, if we do not promote self help or self
Right.
love, then we won't be able to help any other people. Whatever we say, whatever
Beautifully
we do,
put,
we
Miss
won't be able to
Andrella.
help
Right,
them.
exactly. And it's so
Yeah,
important. It's so important to put yourself first. And
yeah,
self love, I mean, it brings back the topic of self love again and how important it is. We are also launching our new parents course. I mean, whosoever the audiences that we have here, we would also like to announce our ongoing parental course that we are launching soon, which will
okay,
include the neuro linguistic programming and the coping mechanism, how you can use neuro linguistic programming in terms of coping mechanism, in terms of dealing with your emotions and everything. So thank you
yes.
so much, Miss Ondrella, for joining us today and giving your precious time to Coffee Connect
Thank you so
session.
much.
And we are going to
Thank
meet you
you.
all next week with another fresh session of Saturday with Sakshi Coffee Connect. Goodbye for now.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you so
joining
much.
us. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Yeah. Bye.
Bye,
Take care.
dear. Bye.